prices of their product just because they think they need more money. Okay? They go back and look at what is your core business? What are you supposed to be doing? And you figure out how to fund that, and then if you can do more, great. But you're doing things now that are not your core business. The core business is to deliver the water and keep the infrastructure up and going, and that's something you should have been funding all along. It's incompetence not to have provided for that up to this time by setting aside sinking funds, doing parts of your financial statements that would have provided additional money. They're trying to put it all on everybody now in the demonstration of why we shouldn't have you on this board and keep going forward.
Just for clarification, the monthly rate is not set at a 4% increase, that's the maximum. The rate increase would be pegged to the actual CPI.
Right, the increase in the CMF is pegged to a ENR, which is a construction-based index. The 4%, we are showing a 4% increase on the CMF, which is the ceiling. For the operating budget, it is stated as a 4% per year increases.
Okay.
Once again, the numbers right.
Point well taken. Next is Mimi Willard.
Oh, Mimi, good for you. Oh dear, okay.
So, I think something very unfortunate and divisive has happened as a result of this process. We've been given a false choice that never really had to happen between funding our infrastructure and having an unfair plan. And this ends up with members of the community all shooting at each other. It's completely unnecessary because the Paul Primo plan produced the same amount of revenue for you, but it produced it in a fair way. And so I think that's just unfortunate, and that you still have the opportunity to start over and do it right. Now, the fact that you can do something doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. Oh, and before I start into that, I just want to mention your fire flow fee, I believe, well, I know, it went on the ballot. So I don't understand why a capital maintenance fee can't go on the ballot. But going back to what I want to talk about here is the fact that you can do something doesn't make it right. You've had repeated complaints about the fact that you don't video your meetings. At some point you will capitulate on that, and maybe that will be the little bone that gets thrown to people who are unhappy about their capital maintenance fee. We've had repeated complaints about a self-serving board's health insurance. That really should be something that you think about. People don't think it's the right thing in Marin. And it doesn't matter if they do it in Santa Clara or somewhere else. We have board members who repeatedly phone in. So the fact, again, that you can do something doesn't make it right. You had the option to put a protest form in the mailer, but you didn't. Instead, we had a full board at a communications committee meeting that designed a mailer to sell the rate hike by highlighting a $163 CMF as the average customer. It's not, it's the average of the smallest meters. So instead, we have a highly unpopular fee structure that people think is illogical. And the height of this illogicalness is that you've got 12,000 customers who have a 1 to 1.5 inch meter that don't have sprinklers on them, and they will end up paying more than the people who have 1 inch to 1.5 inch meters who do have sprinklers. Doesn't make any sense. I just think that it's the responsibility of the board to not simply protect the water district and a particular plan that has got too much inertia behind it, but instead the appropriate thing is to think about the fact that you have a broader constituency, some of whom are going to be really hurt by a plan that isn't fairly distributed across the various constituencies. Thank you.
Next is Pat McGauley and then Mariette Sheen.
Hello again. My name is Pat McGauley, and I've been here before. I'm really concerned about the fairness of this new proposal. I was here 2 years ago, and I brought it up then, and now I'm really bringing it up. And I've been to a lot of rate hearings and council meetings and things like that, usually as a spectator. This is the only time I've ever been angry enough to actually get up and speak, because I don't like to do this. This is really grossly unfair. And I do want you guys, I implore you to go back to the drawing board and rethink it. Because I agree with everything that everybody said that's protesting so far, so I'm not going to reiterate. But what I did promise to do is show you what a proper 218 notification looks like. And you're welcome to look at it. It doesn't have a bunch of fancy pictures. Doesn't say how great they are. It just explains, gives you all the nuts and bolts, all the numbers right here, tells you the reason why they're increasing. This is like a 2% increase. And even for a 2% increase, they included the ballot, so people could just tear this off and mail it back for part of it. You guys couldn't do that. This is a standalone Prop 218 pamphlet. When people get this in the mail, they know what it is. The thing you guys sent out, it was this. It was basically, you know, I'm sure you guys do a great job, and I'm not trying to degrade you. I know you have a great system, some wonderful employees, but this is all about how wonderful you are. And it doesn't say anything about Prop 218 in here. Nobody would know. And I will tell you, from the people I've spoken to, there's a lot of folks that didn't even know there was a rate increase, because it's buried in here. You have to read the whole thing, and then you can't find out that there's a way to protest it until you get to the very back page. Here it is, little tiny corner of the pamphlet. So I didn't think that was very fair. I think it's unethical the way you did it. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. But I do know that if you read about the Prop 218 statute, it does say, so I'll read this, the cost imposed on each property owner must be proportional to that property owner's water use. This clearly is not. The provider must base the rate increase on actual use, not estimated use or potential future use, or of course, what size water you have. So I just think I think you guys need to go back and rethink what you're doing, okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you.
You would send them up. Next is Mariette.
Hi, I'm Marin Municipal, and I'm an employee here at the Water District in Information Systems, and I've been with the district for 18 years. And I just want to say we have 200 now, about 240 employees who are responsible for taking care of this very complex water district system, complex topography, complex infrastructure and piping for the oldest water district in California, and take care of this 21,000, 22,000 acre watershed, and be very responsive, so that I've heard a lot of compliments about, the support for employees, but just so you're aware, we are recognizing that we can't do more with less. We personally see the need day by day, on a daily basis, for the need for a rate increase. We see the failing infrastructure when we go to repair leaks. We see the increases in paving costs and the complexity of trying to coordinate with cities' rising, costs for paving and other licensing, other certification requirements. Trying to coordinate with, even their street cleaning. We have a lot of emergency responses that. For leak repairs that we cannot completely account for or predict. So our crews are extremely reliable, super hardworking. I'm proud to work with my peers who are sitting back there in the back. And we daily discuss how we need to address the aging infrastructure concerns, because it costs $1 million to replace 1 mile of pipe. Last year we only replaced 70 miles of pipe. Think about how many years it's going to take. We have, as Charlie pointed out, almost 500 miles of pipe that's over 50 years old. And this it should be a concern for everybody, and it's not, we can't just keep accruing more bond debt, because it's not going to be healthy for the district and for our customers to keep supporting that method to infinity. So what the board is trying to do, and what I think employees see the board is trying to do, is to address these urgent requirements where we do not have the funding we need right now. Like, for example, Ross Reservoir is extremely critical, and if you go take a look at the pictures, or you go visit the watershed and you can see it for yourself, the need is urgent, but the cost is great, and we need to have the funds, and we can't just keep asking the district to accrue more and more bond debt. You want us to expand the watershed resources, you want us to enlarge the capacity of water we have, and yet you want us to reduce our rates, or not increase our rates, and reduce our staff. We can't keep making cuts. We have to face the realities of increasing costs to the water district, inflation, and another thing I want to address is, okay, can I just say one more thing?
Next is Chris Turner. Chris, and then Mark Converse is on deck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Taylor. I'm an MMWD employee and Steward Council. When I hear people start talking about our pensions and how big our salaries are, I want to be known that I was born and raised in Fairfax. I've attended Manor Elementary, White Hill Middle School, and Sir Francis Drake High School. I went on to Sonoma State. I'm a definition of a local. And I can't afford to live in this community anymore. Last board meeting I attended, I didn't get home until 11:30 at night. In order for me to be on time at work, I get up at 4 a.m. every day. If I had the amount of money that some people claim that I make, you bet I'll be living back in Marin County. But I don't, and I'm not here. I'm just one of the many employees that cannot live within the MMWD service area. We don't have inflated salaries, we don't have outrageous pensions. I just read water meters. I read and repair water meters. My coworkers are always out there maintaining our infrastructure and fixing it when it breaks. Their lives are interrupted, so yours can be on schedule and on time. We need this revenue so we can do our jobs and provide this great service to our community. Thank you.
Mark Converse, and then Aaron Burton.
Hi, my name is Mark Converse, and I live in Ross. And by background, I am a civil engineer, and the early part of my career, I worked for a construction company that built and maintained water utility systems. And then for a while, I also worked for one of the preeminent civil engineering consulting firms in the area. As I look at the information presented, it's really hard to find out really what's going on. I agree with a lot of what's been said about the lack of transparency. And by my background, I actually know what it costs to run a water system and fix a lot of stuff. I've done that. I've been up all night fixing pumps in my previous part of my life to get water back to people, so I know what it takes. You guys are essentially a 240-person construction services company, engineering services firm. And the challenge I think we're facing here is, and I certainly understand the idea of deferred maintenance or deferred construction. But I certainly understand that. I understand the physics of that and engineering quite well. But I think the challenge we have is the cost problem, as some folks have said. And the previous gentleman talked about the wages. I mean, I couldn't find out what percentage of your cost structure that is. It's really hard to find that after that. And so my question is how come it's not presented in a way that's transparent and easy to see how that's changed over time? I went back and looked at a number of your old budgets, and it seems to me you've changed the way you accrue for those and account for those, so it's kind of hard to figure out what those are now versus 15 or 20 years ago, but they've clearly gone up and they're clearly going to go up more. And so my question is there's 240 employees and I think a couple of hundred retirees that are serving the public here of 250,000 employees, give or take. Why is it fair that the rights of those folks supersede the rights of all the ratepayers in terms of wages and benefits that, by the way, we can't get it? So it's not that clear, and I urge when you put those documents out in the future, you're more upfront in terms of how that's impacting the cost, because essentially the costs are, because of those things, are some percentage out of line in terms of what it really costs to run the water system. So I oppose the rates, and I think it's expensive to live here. I get that, and I don't have a problem anybody making a lot of money if the wages are set by the market, and unfortunately they're really not. Because if you want to get some more cost, you just pass on the ratepayers and do what you want. It's really not fair. I think that's why a lot of people are upset. So I oppose the rates, but I hope we can do this differently next time.
I've been the chairman of the California Water Commission for 3 years, and I've been on the Water Commission for 5. And I travel all over California, holding public meetings, looking at different water systems, looking at state water projects and all of that. And one of the things that we always look at are rates and wages. And one of the things that happens, and I've seen it happen in a number of areas, and if you run a construction company, you know this, if you don't pay enough, you become a training center. And I can tell you that the wages that we pay here are right in line with pretty much the industry standards. So if we don't keep our wages where they are, we will become a training center.
Like I said, I'm not opposed to making people make a lot of money. The problem is, if you want to hire 10 more people, you just charge us. Or 20 more people, you just charge us. Whereas a normal company or customers, they can't do that. And that's just not really fair. That's my point. You run out of business. You have to like that. I understand.
Aaron Burton, and then Lorna Chris, and Steve Lang.
So I just want all of the rank and file staff to stand up and raise their hand.
I think so.
So, so 80% of my members cannot afford to be the neighbors of many of the folks in this room. They have to commute. Many of them commute many hours, a round trip a day, and many would actually classify as poverty. And so one thing I also want to remember also is that a lot of our staff, actually most of our staff, have various certificates, have various degrees, are highly skilled, and this is very complicated. When I went to California Pomona, even though my degree was in political science, but I did Model UN, and one of the internships I got to do was on water, particularly in the international community. And you really realize how challenging water is in our society and in the rest of the world, but also here in the United States. And we have to address those challenges. We have to make sure we have the funding to address those challenges, and we want to make sure we have the talent here. Because I have seen firsthand the cost of having perpetual turnover of staff when employers were trying to be penny wise, pound foolish. And I just want to say that I think that we need to make sure that our members have the resources to do their jobs. We have had less rentals, we've had less staff, we've been asked to do more with less. We want to make sure that if we all contribute to this, we all have, the resources needed to do our work. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Lorna Chris, and then Steve Lang.
I think Steve left.
He left?
I think so.
Don Driscoll.
he's here.
Oh, is he? Oh, my fault.
Right over there.
It's clear
Where is
that
he?
people were not
Around the corner.
satisfied
You can't see him unless you go
with the Prop 218 procedure that was used here. And it's clear that people want to be allowed to vote on whether there's a rate increase. When the issue came up, the board asked Marin
Okay, so after him.
what the
My fault.
situation was, whether a vote was possible. And she told the board that Article 13D of the California Constitution applies. That's correct. That's Prop 218, and that describes the procedure of using protests. And the board heard Ms. Casey to be saying a vote couldn't be taken. But that isn't what Ms. Casey said. When I listen to a lawyer, I listen as carefully to what she does not say as to what she does say. And she did not say that a vote could not be taken in addition to using the Prop 218 procedure. So I challenge her right now to offer an opinion that a vote could not be taken.
Please do.
So first of all, the board of directors of any public agency has discretion about how to go about setting rates. In the water industry, I have long experienced that the norm is that the protest procedures under Prop 218 are followed. I think it would be rare for a water agency to put a property-related water fee to a vote. Taxes are put to votes, assessment district fees are put to votes, and water fees were just in, I think it was the early 2000s that the Bighorn Desert case determined that water-related fees were subject to 218. So does the board have discretion? Yes. Is it the norm? No.
So, as Ms. Casey has now said, the board misunderstood what Ms. Casey said, and in fact, a vote is permitted. Thank you.
Excuse me, but I don't think you should speak for what the board understood. What I said was that the process for, the normal process for adopting water rates is via Article 13D6, which is the protest procedures that were enacted by the voters of this state.
Anybody can go back and watch the videotape or the audio tape and see what transpired.
For the record, I did not misunderstand.
It was Mr. Quintero who asserted that a vote could not be taken. And there's no point in arguing about it. It's been recorded.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment.
Hold on. Steve Lang, you called me earlier.
Your name?
Steve Lang.
Yes.
Yes, saying hi. I'm Steve Lang. I live in Mill Valley. I've been there for 24 years. So I guess I'm a relative short timer compared to a lot of speakers here tonight. But and I had met Ben and Charlie earlier this year and talked a little bit about my background. Is I've been for 30 years. I've been an institutional muni bond investor. And so I've worked for a number of banks and investment banks, and I've been, most recently, I actually have my own muni bond, California Municipal Bond Fund. So I'm very aware of MMWD's reputation in the market and its credit rating. And so earlier in the year, I sat down with Ben and Charlie and sort of was encouraging them to look at debt financing, and they both explained clearly the kind of the path that you guys were going down to try to shift more towards fees as opposed to continued debt financing. But even since when we first sat down, the muni market has been going, just rallying like crazy these last couple of months. And I just took a look at where your bonds are trading right today. the most recent deal you guys did, which was 2 years ago, the 2017 deal, which was a subordinated debt deal. So it's actually a slightly lower credit rating of your credit. And the demand for that, the 30-year bonds on that deal were priced at just below 3%. And then those bonds today are trading through 230, so they've actually rallied 70 basis points from where, and you guys got great execution on the subordinated debt 2 years ago, really through a 3%, because the prior year deal, when you had a higher credit rating, like you were, I think 3.25 or something like that. So, so the point is, today, you could do 30-year debt at probably just through at 230, and you could do 20-year debt probably at about a 210. And so realistically, that's subordinated debt that I'm sort of talking about. So that gives you the ability to really continue debt financing, really, and I just would encourage you to reconsider just giving the rally that we're facing right now and your ability to do more subordinated debt. I mean, there's no dispute that the infrastructure needs funding, and it seems like even if you have reservations about the interest expense of 30-year debt, if you just look at 20-year debt, and we said at 210, that should be, you should seriously consider that, because it would very logically fit the term structure of the infrastructure needs that you have. And it seems like as long as the market is giving you this opportunity for cheap debt financing, I would encourage you to consider sort of maximizing what you can do within the confines of your proper coverage ratios. But I would just, again, just ask you to reconsider.